You keep telling yourself that you'll start soon. Not today, but someday. You whisper it like a promise. I'll begin when I feel ready. But deep down, a part of you already knows the truth. That day never comes on its own. Every morning, you wake up hoping for a shift, a spark, a sudden surge of clarity that will push you into motion. But instead, your body feels heavy, your mind foggy, and the world too loud or too quiet to change anything. So you delay, not because you don't care, but because you're tired. Tired of trying, tired of failing, tired of being stuck between who you are and who you want to be. And so you wait. One more day, one more night, one more imaginary moment when everything will magically align. But the truth is painfully simple. Life doesn't wait with you. Days slip past quietly, as subtle as shadows moving across a room. You scroll, you distract, you comfort yourself with tiny habits that soothe but never satisfy. And each time you say, later, a piece of the life you could be living fades into the background. We grow up believing that motivation must come first, that we need inspiration before action. But that idea is the chain that keeps most people locked in place. You wait for readiness like it's a train arriving at a station. But readiness isn't a train, it's a decision. Your mind has one job: survival, not progress, not meaning, not transformation, just survival. So anything unfamiliar, new goals, new routines, new versions of yourself, your mind labels as danger. That's why it whispers comforting lies. Not now. You're not prepared. You need more time. Because time feels safe. Waiting feels safe. The familiar, even when it hurts, feels safe. But safety is not the same as living. Inside you, there is a quiet conflict, a divide between the part that dreams and the part that fears. Philosophers have spoken about this for centuries. The inner split, the resistance that rises whenever change threatens the identity you know. You're not lazy. You're conflicted. You're standing at the border between your old self and your possible self. And crossing that border feels like losing who you've always been. But here's something most people never learn. The mind doesn't create transformation. Action does. Motivation isn't the spark. Action is the spark. Motivation is the smoke that follows. You don't get the energy to move before moving. You gain energy because you moved. The first step you take, even if it's small, even if it's shaky, is the moment the fog begins to lift. You've been told to wait for inspiration, for the perfect mood, for some magical morning when you wake up fearless. But that morning doesn't exist. You don't act when you feel ready. You feel ready because you acted. Every great thinker, every creator, every person who rose from nothing began before they believed they could. They stepped into the unknown with trembling hands and discovered confidence only after they moved. Your hesitation isn't failure. It's a message, a sign that you've outgrown the version of yourself you're still living in. You look around your room and see the quiet evidence of waiting. Unfinished notes, abandoned ideas, goals postponed until the moment feels right. But the right moment is not a time, it's a choice. Time doesn't pause while you find courage. It doesn't freeze until you feel inspired. It moves faithfully, silently, no matter how long you stand still. And one day, you'll realize the cost of waiting wasn't lost opportunities. It was lost aliveness, lost days you never stepped into, lost versions of yourself you never gave a chance to breathe. But here's the turning point, the place where philosophy meets action. Transformation begins with awareness, not with discipline, not with ambition, not with force. It begins the moment you notice your pattern, the loop, the excuses, the endless postponing. Awareness is the first crack in the wall, the first breath after being underwater. Once you see your own resistance, you can no longer pretend it isn't there. Awareness pulls you out of autopilot and places your life back in your hands. And from that moment on, your journey begins. Not with grand gestures, not with intensity, but with quiet consistency. A small step, a simple action, a single moment where you choose to move, even if the fear still whispers. Because when you act instead of waiting, you reclaim your life from the future and place it back into the present, where it always belonged. And finally, you stop waiting for your life to begin because you realize it already has.